Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So, welcome to Podcast Meditations, and you are here with Ep.2 of Can't Hurt Me. So, join me as I meditate and go through as I read this book for the first time. And we are in actually chapter 2 moving forward. This is the second episode, and I will share my personal realizations and reflections, connecting it with my personal life. And for people who are listening or going through this book for the first time, feel free to share your own realizations, life lessons, or the impact it has on your life watching the live or the replay. So let's get to it. How this works is I'll share my screen and then I will reflect on parts of the book that these are lines that hit me the most. So over here, and then you can read along with me, and I will just share the parts that really struck my soul and hit me deep as I share other insights from my personal life. Some of you may be able to relate, and then you can also comment and interact below because I'm curious to learn from you as well. So let's begin. So we're in chapter 2, Truth Hurts, of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. So the first line that hit me, which made it extremely hard to carry the weight of being the only. Most, if not all, minorities, women, and gay people know that strain of loneliness well, of walking into rooms where you are the only one of your kind. Most have no idea how hard it can be. I wish they did, because then they'd know how it drains you. At least that's how it feels. So if any of you can relate to this line, watching the live or the replay, comment down below. Maybe, as David Goggins wrote here, right, you were a minority, a woman, a gay person, ostracized. Maybe you were straight. Maybe you were a nerd. Maybe you were bullied growing up. Maybe you were a rich kid amongst, crab mentality people who dragged you down, insulted you, and did not appreciate you, whatever it is. If you can relate and felt like the only, comment the only down below. Next line. Everything I did was to get a reaction out of the people who hated me most because everyone's opinion of me mattered to me. And that's a shallow way to live. So when I read this part of the book and I reflect, I get that growing up, it's a human need, especially when you're young and growing up, like the need to fit in. Even for older people, the science or like the psychology behind it is if you're not accepted by the group or the tribe, it kind of feels like death because you're an outcast. And if you're not part of the tribe, your chances of survival are less. It's like a slower death, like that. So it's very real, and David Goggins shares how he went through that and found a way through it. Next line. I was full of pain, had no real purpose, and if you were watching from afar, it would have looked like I'd given up. So this is something that I recently went through in past years. So people who feel lost, these are hints. These are hints of someone else who may be going through something just like you. The next line I love is more hopeful, but I hadn't let go of all hope. I had one more dream left. Speaking of that, so just earlier today, why I'm dressed up this way, went to the office in Makati. That's, here in Metro Manila, it's kind of like the central business district. It's like the mini New York of the Philippines. So in Makati office, today, earlier this morning, was a dream board sharing. And back when I started my work as a life insurance agent, November 2014, so in my first full year in 2015, I was asked to make a dream board. And my realization was I did not have any dreams that time. So if you see my cover photo, my profile, currently my dream board, I started that in 2016. It's 2025 now, and I have been evolving it along the way. David Goggins gives a hint here. All you need for hope is just one more dream. It gives you life. And that's a Bible quote. Again, I'll just add quick before moving forward. A man without a vision will perish. A man without a dream will die, right? Next line. One day, a para-rescue man named Scott Gearan came to speak. And he had a motherfucker of a story to tell. For years, I was obsessed with that story because he'd survived the impossible, and I resonated with his survival. I felt like I was free falling with no fucking chute. That means parachute, and that's what happened. So this Scott Gearan guy was skydiving, jumped off, and his parachute. Long story short, a guy on top fell through it, and he crashed with no parachute, and he survived. So moving on, Giran was living proof that it's possible to transcend anything that doesn't kill you. And from the time I heard him speak, I knew I would enlist in the Air Force after graduation. So I love how he shares this story because there are pockets and moments in our life where people inspire us. If you don't like that word, they give us life, they give us hope, they give us a dream or a possibility. They show us that the impossible is possible. And I love that. These are hints. These are hints when you're feeling lost without purpose, you're feeling depressed or dead. Next line. That night, after taking a shower, I wiped the steam away from our corroded bathroom mirror and took a good look. I didn't like who I saw staring back. I was a low budget thug with no purpose and no future. I felt so disgusted I wanted to punch the motherfucker in the face and shatter glass. It was time to get real. Next line. What started as a spontaneous venting session had become a solo intervention. So, next line. The ritual was simple. I'd shave my face and scalp every night, get loud, and get real. I set goals, wrote them on post it notes, and tagged them on what I now call the accountability mirror. Because each day I'd hold myself accountable to the goals I'd set. So, this is David Goggins, one of his key lessons he shares called the accountability mirror. Next line. That negativity you're feeling is your internal desire for change. But change doesn't come easy. And the reason this ritual worked so well for me was because of my tone. I was raw because that was the only way to get myself right. Tell the truth, and you will turn that negativity, which is real, into jet fuel. So I love this, and I totally resonate this, especially with Real Talk Lifeline when I started this years ago. I just started reading this book super recently. So it's January 2025, right? So a few years ago when I started Real Talk Lifeline, it's all about real, raw, and authentic conversations. And David Goggins was doing this with himself, just him and the man in the mirror, the accountability mirror. Next line, there is no time to waste. So I love it. Like, cut the shit and like, let's get to it, right? That's another thing I resonate with. It was the accountability mirror that kept me motivated to keep pushing towards something better. So David Goggins was able to do this with himself. So growing up, this is new to me because I never really talked to myself in the mirror. So when I made Real Talk Lifeline and I do deep dive calls or one on ones with people, it actually feels very similar to this. When you get raw, when you get real, and you just, cut the shit the way he talks, right? You're just very honest, brutally honest, and you get to share that with another person. He did it with himself in the mirror, even more powerful. It is super healing, it is super liberating, which leads to the next line. It was cleansing. By the time I turned back, my fear was gone. So when you face it, right? When you face it, the truth, that's why the chapter is called Truth Hurts, right? It's very cleansing, it's very liberating. It's very, the term I would use is healing. So again, let's just move forward in this meditation. Again, you face the fear. Like the way you fix it is you face it. That's one of his lines. From then on, I brainwashed myself into craving discomfort. If it was raining, I would run. Sometimes I was out and had to deal with it at the accountability mirror. But facing that mirror, facing myself, motivated me to fight through uncomfortable experiences. And as a result, I became tougher. Next line. I looked at the people who were making me feel uncomfortable and realized how uncomfortable they were in their own skin. This one, like I see the truth, I see fire, super helpful because as the next line would, say over here, the last two lines, to make fun of or try to intimidate someone they didn't even know was a clear indication that something was very wrong with them, not me. And the last line that I journaled here says, but when you have no confidence, it becomes easy to value other people's opinions. And I was valuing everyone's opinion without considering the minds that generated them. That sounds silly, but it's an easy trap to fall into, especially when you are insecure. I was still insecure. So this one gives a lot of awareness. When you reach that level of awareness or consciousness that people who bully you, people who intimidate and give you shit, a lot of times what's wrong is with them, not you. So this process, the accountability mirror, is us facing our own demons. So I'll get to challenge number two. In the interest of time over here, I'll quickly go read it through the book. People who want to go along with it, let me stop the sharing for a moment. Back to me. So here in Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins, Ep.2, let's end with challenge number two. And if you want to do it, the more powerful it will be. Now, lead by example, Martin. Why don't you go fucking do it yourself? I will, fuckface. And I say that with love, so I'm gonna do it with you. Challenge number two, it's time to come eyeball to eyeball with yourself and get raw and real. This is not a self love tactic. You can't fluff it. Don't massage your ego. This is about abolishing the ego and taking the first step toward becoming the real you. I tacked post it notes on my accountability mirror, and I'll ask you to do the same. Digital devices won't work. Write all your insecurities, dreams, and goals on post its and tag up your mirror. If you need more education, remind yourself that you need to start working your ass off because you aren't smart enough. Period, point blank. If you look in the mirror and see someone who is obviously overweight, that means you're fucking fat. Own own it. It's okay to be unkind with yourself in these moments because we need thicker skin to improve in life. Whether it's a career goal, quit my job, start a business, a lifestyle goal, lose weight, get more active, or an athletic one, run my first 5K, 10K, or marathon. You need to be truthful with yourself about where you are and the necessary steps it will take to achieve those goals day by day. Each step, each necessary point of self improvement should be written as its own note. That means you have to do some research and break it all down. For example, if you're trying to lose 40 pounds, your first post it may be to lose 2 pounds in the first week. Once that goal is achieved, remove the note and then post the next goal of 2 to 5 pounds until your ultimate goal is realized. Whatever your goal, you'll need to hold yourself accountable for the small steps it will take to get there. Self improvement takes dedication and self discipline. The dirty mirror you see every day is going to reveal the truth. Stop ignoring it. Use it to your advantage. If you feel it, post an image of yourself staring into your tagged up accountability mirror on social media with the hashtags hashtag can't hurt me, hashtag accountability mirror. And let's end this episode with that. So I will share mine because the only person I can control, the only thing I can do is myself. I'd love it if you share yours as well. So let's end this with my sharing, which I just did the other day over here. So I'll read it for you, but that is a photo of me looking into the mirror. And as the challenge stated, challenge number 2, post it notes on my accountability mirror, write all my insecurities, dreams, and goals, and tag up my mirror. So I wrote my insecurities over there on the left side: lazy, weak, don't know what to do. Just like before going on this live, right? Now, what are my goals? So I'll just, because I already zoomed in the most, and if you can't read it, let me help you out. The first one over here is become independent. Number 2, set up financial freedom. Number 3, do my first marathon. Now, why are these my goals? Someone who's still living with my parents at 37 years old plus already, right? Now, I'm learning to appreciate it as well. My parents are already 70 plus years old, so I have limited time with them left. Now, this is just my calling, right? That dog within my soul saying, this is what I want to do. This is what my soul is like whispering to me. Now, what is your version? What is your version of it? And make it realistic. Someone might say, Martin, a marathon is too easy. Or someone might say, a marathon is impossible. Whatever your version is, I attempted homebody, sedentary, introvert, geek, whatever you want to say. I can walk 10K. I attempted my first half marathon last year, and my body was wrecked. I did it in like 4 or 5 hours. So for me, it's a miracle to just even attempt that. But I feel it calling to me. So I'll end it with this. Back to me over here. Let's end this episode. What is your version? Show me your accountability mirror. Thank you. I love you. And I will see you next time.